The World Bank has called for inclusive growth to accelerate substantially for the improvement of livelihoods, while acknowledging that Nigeria has made meaningful progress in restoring macroeconomic stability. The institution says growth prospects in Nigeria partly depends on how effectively the country invests in its people, creates jobs, and is starting in early life. These came to the fore at the presentation of the April 2026 Nigeria Development Update NDU in Abuja titled, Nigeria's Tomorrow Must Start Today, the Case for Early Child Development. The report notes that while recent bold reforms have strengthened macroeconomic fundamentals, enhancing Nigeria's productive capabilities will be critical to translating these gains into better living standards and jobs.
The challenges are especially severe for poorer households and in northern states. These numbers for a country like Nigeria should be treated as a crisis.
Nigeria's economy grew by 4% in 2025, similar to 2024, driven mainly by services such as ICT, financial services, the real estate, with mild expansion in other sectors. Inflation has eased, notably falling to 15.1% year-on-year in February 2026, down from 26.3% a year earlier, supported by tighter monetary policy, reduced exchange rate volatility, and improved food supply. Despite these gains, household incomes have yet to recover fully and poverty remains high, highlighting the need to lower inflation further and complement stabilization with investments and expand economic opportunity and jobs. The Middle East conflict is expected to have mixed but manageable effects on Nigeria. Higher oil prices will boost revenues and exports, but these will come with its attendant consequences, hence the call for proper policy focus to leverage the windfall to rebuild buffers and provide targeted support to vulnerable households, with a caveat to avoid blanket subsidies. On the monetary side, the World Bank supports the CBN's tight stance, adding that deepening macro and structural reforms will increase resilience going forward.
Children that are healthy and well-nourished, children that have access to early quality learning, and who have, of course, the safe environment and responsive caregiving, they have a better chance of succeeding later.
The NDU underscores that human capital development is a key channel through which macroeconomic gains can translate into improved living standards and jobs, identifying that investments during pregnancy and early childhood shape long-term productivity and shared prosperity. The statistics are disturbing. About 110 out of every 1,000 children die before the age of 5. 40% are stunted, and more than half are not developmentally on track before entering school. These are concerns before policymakers.
We're planning for the worst in terms of what might happen with inflation. There is still that commitment to have in place a social safety net that helps the poorest and the most vulnerable, in particular, to cope with elevated costs.
We are strictly working every day to ensure that we're able to get inflation down, because that's the biggest tax to the poor. And that's the biggest challenge that we have in terms of forming this inclusive society.
We have not taken seriously the issue of early childhood development. And there is a need for a reboot. We need to reset. We need to bring up the issue of ECD to a higher level.
The report holds that Nigeria has made efforts to stabilize its economy, but welfare gains are still modest and projects growth to hover in the medium term at 4.2%, supported by continued macroeconomic stabilization, ongoing structural reforms, and increased investments. Leah Katung Babatunde reporting from Abuja.